Breaking news to get to here on the 49ers Report. I am Chase Sr. Appreciate all of you for rocking with us. The 49ers have made two signings, bringing in Arden Key, a defensive end who last played for the Las Vegas Raiders, as well as running back Wayne Gallman, who, without Saquon Barkley in the lineup for the Giants last year, actually impressed. Two one-year deals for each player, and they're not going to be superstar players for this 49ers team, but they are bringing some talent to San Francisco and are going to provide this team with a little bit of depth. Let's start off with Arden Key. So, as I mentioned, he's signing a one-year deal with the 49ers. He was cut by the Raiders less than a week ago, and we're talking about a 2018 third-round pick out of LSU, who at times has shown flashes throughout his short NFL career. But there has been no long-term sustained success with Arden Key, and he has not lived up to those lofty expectations that people had kind of thrown on him prior to the draft. Leading up to the 2018 NFL draft, Arden Key was looked at as a guy who could be a really talented prospect at the edge rusher spot. And for the Raiders, he was really just okay. His numbers didn't really jump off the page at you. In 2020, only 15 tackles, no sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 0 forced fumbles, no fumble recoveries. But this is my thought process here. You can never have enough defensive ends or edge rushers. And we have seen edge rushers in this 49ers defensive scheme thrive. I understand that Robert Saleh, he's on the East Coast now. He's coaching the New York Jets. D'Amico Ryans learned under Robert Saleh, was a great linebacker throughout his entire NFL career, and I think he's going to be able to implement people in his system, and immediately they're going to be able to excel because of the culture in place, this scheme in place, as well as the other talent on that defensive line for the 49ers, which is stacked. We'll get back to Arden Key here in just a minute, but I want to touch on Wayne Gallman because he, like Key, also signed a one-year contract. When Saquon Barkley went out with his torn ACL early in the year last year for the Giants, Wayne Gallman stepped in, and I thought he was awfully impressive. He adds a veteran presence to this 49ers backfield, and this is a guy who is also versatile as well. He can run in between the tackles. He can get outside to the edge. And he also has 80 receptions so far in his NFL career. So we've seen that in Kyle Shanahan's offense, he likes to utilize backs in a variety of ways, running in the trenches, getting out to the perimeter, but also catching the ball out of the backfield as well. I think Wayne Gallman, as maybe a third stringer, fourth stringer, will be able to add those elements to this 49ers offense. So which of these two players is a better pickup? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. If it's Arden Key, get into the comments and type K. If you think it's Wayne Gallman, type G. There has been so much hype leading up to the NFL draft that these signings kind of came as a surprise, but they do fill two needs for this 49ers team, defensive line and running back. And with Arden Key, in his NFL career, the numbers aren't monstrous. 49 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 2 pass breakups, but the athletic ability is certainly there. And I made that point earlier in talking about Arden Key not having sole focus put on him on this 49ers defensive line. He's going to be a backup, and the focus for the opposing offensive lineman, it's going to be centered on Nick Bosa when he comes back from that torn ACL, and Eric Armstead, as well as Samson Ebukam, one of the 49ers free agency pickups, who was an under-the-radar player for Brandon Staley's defense last year with the Los Angeles Rams. You have Dee Ford, who restructured his contract, and Arden Key figures to be a second string behind Samson Ebukam. And him and Ebukam might not be traditional defensive ends, but we kind of just have to get rid of that boomer mentality of saying, look, these aren't traditional outside rushers. An edge rusher is an edge rusher. And if they rush after the quarterback and fill a need and they show some dynamic ability there, that's really all that you care about. And if they can drop into coverage as well, depending on what front you're in, what scheme you're running, that's even more value. And hey, Arden Key has that type of ability where he can be used in a variety of ways. So it's only a one-year contract for both of these players, but this is almost a low-risk, high-potential reward for the 49ers, and they've made some of these transactions throughout the offseason. Now, a lot of that is probably the approach from this 49ers front office, but also because the NFL salary cap is going to be about $16 million less than it was a year ago, and a lot of players across NFL free agency are signing short-term deals in hopes that they can kind of improve their stock, enter the free agency market after this year, and sign for more money. I mentioned that the NFL draft is coming up in 8 days, next Thursday. Can't wait for it. And if you haven't already subscribed to our Chat Sports main YouTube channel, you're crazy. You're totally missing out, because not only are we going to be live for every single round on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we're going to be breaking down every single pick of the 2021 NFL Draft. So hit that big red button down below and subscribe to our Chat Sports main YouTube channel by going to youtube.com/chatsportstv. We've been the most watched NFL Draft on YouTube. We also like to have the most fun because, yeah, sometimes alcohol gets involved. We got roulette wheels, and we also allow you to join the party as well, commenting and answering all of your questions. Wayne Gallman. So I really like this pickup, and this is a sneaky good pickup with a lot of potential rewards for Kyle Shanahan in this offense. Like, when I say that he stepped in for Saquon Barkley last year and impressed, I'm not just saying that because the 49ers are only signing him to a short-term contract worth probably little to no money. This guy can seriously play, and the sample size was certainly there last year. 147 carries, 682 yards, the average yards per touch, 4.5, and he can sniff the end zone as well, not just running the football, but catching the football as well. He had 6 rushing touchdowns last year, and throughout his career, the numbers are pretty impressive for a guy who has been behind the likes of Saquon Barkley, who has been a machine in his short NFL career and has steadily been on the field prior to last year, him tearing that ACL. And where does Wayne Gallman factor into this 49ers running back conversation? Behind Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, you have Kyle Juszczyk, who can be used in multiple ways as well as the lead blocker, him getting carries. You can kind of put him out wide because he can catch the ball as well as kind of a flank tight end or catch the ball out of the backfield. There are multiple options now for Kyle Shanahan out of the backfield with Mostert, Wilson, Juszczyk, and now Wayne Gallman that he's going to be able to use at his disposal to make this 49ers offense a very explosive one. And who the hell knows who's going to be quarterback? Imagine if it's a guy like Justin Fields, possibly Trey Lance, who gives opposing defenses that option of and threat of being a runner as well as a passer with some of those running back and fullback options out of the backfield. Kyle Shanahan is probably sitting in his office in San Francisco right now saying, wow, I'm going to have a lot of fun drawing up plays for this offense because we are lethal across the board. And we just did this entire show without mentioning Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, as well as George Kittle. This 49ers offense, I am absolutely loving the prospects of, if this unit is healthy, being one of the best in the NFL in 2021. So Wayne Gallman, Arden Key, both signing one-year deals for the 49ers. Low signings in terms of the year and dollar amount, but potential high rewards with these signings as well. Who do you think the 49ers rushing leader is going to be, speaking of Wayne Gallman? Type 1, if you predict it's going to be Raheem Mostert. Type 2, if you think it's going to be the speedster Jeff Wilson. Type 3, if it's Wayne Gallman. Or who knows, with the NFL draft coming up, maybe the 49ers bring in a rookie running back at some point in the middle to late rounds. Maybe they surprise some people and draft a running back on possibly day 2. Type 4, if you think it's going to be another guy.